Is your deck safe? You may not be able to tell just by standing on it. Consumer editor Susan Copen's here now with what we need to know. Susan.
It can happen like that, and luckily the kids heading to the prom, they were not injured in that deck collapse. But 2 days ago, a deck collapsed, and it sent a 64-year-old woman to the hospital. And as in most cases, her deck collapsed without warning.
A prom night these kids won't forget. A birthday cookout gone wrong. A deck at a home in Fayette County collapsing without warning. Over the past 10 years, more than 1,000 people have been hurt and 20 people killed in deck collapses.
I just remember thinking, this is it.
Jen Talmadge was almost killed when the deck of a vacation home ripped away from the house. She fell 40 feet along with a hot tub and a hot barbecue grill.
It was just a mess, lumber everywhere, dust coming up. And in my mind, I'm thinking, there's no way she made it through that.
Experts say 50% of all decks, roughly 20 million in the U.S., are in need of repair or replacement.
It definitely is a nice big deck.
We tagged along with Brendan Ryan, a Pittsburgh home inspector, as he checked out this backyard deck in the North Hills.
Bad decks that are very bad, we see them a few times a month.
During this deck inspection, Ryan points out a railing that's too wobbly.
This railing moves a little bit more than you think it should.
It moves relatively easily, yes.
A crack near the stairs and rusty bolts.
A couple of things that are wrong that should be addressed. The issues that are here are actually not all that difficult to take care of.
The most important part of your deck is what you see underneath. We asked structural engineer Ricardo Aravello to walk us through the warning signs of a dangerous deck. These two decks may look alike, but looks can be deceiving.
So one of these decks can come tumbling down.
Very easily.
Just like that.
Just like that.
The deck on the left was in great shape. It had metal connectors, slats less than 4 inches apart, and the deck was held together with screws and bolts.
The most critical connection of a deck is how it's attached to the house. This piece of wood is called the ledger board, and you can see how it's secured with screws to the structure of the house.
The other deck looked good, but up close it was a different story.
There are a lot of problems with this deck, but the main problem is that you see missing connections. You don't see any metal underneath this deck, and metal is what ties pieces of wood together. Another problem with this deck is cracked wood.
Rusty nails, that's a bad sign.
But the most crucial flaw was the ledger board, where the deck attaches to the house.
If we look up here, the attachment is made with only nails, and that's very unsafe.
In this demonstration, you can see if the nails come out, a deck can come crashing down.
I know we set this up for a demonstration, but something like this is common. Homes across America?
It's very common. Sometimes people don't take decks seriously, but it's very important that decks be properly built and maintained.
Jen Talmadge says she never thought to inspect the deck while on vacation.
So this deck with a hot tub was being held on.
A two-story deck, too.
With nails?
Mm-hmm.
Just nails?
Just nails.
That's why I felt like it did.
Brian and Jen now check every deck before stepping foot.
The biggest thing that I would say is don't take it for granted that your deck is safe. Check. Make sure that it's safe.
The average life expectancy of a wood deck is about 15 years. It's a good idea to check your deck every year. Also a good idea, may seem like it's going overboard, but check the deck of the home that you're renting on vacation. And if you're heading over to a friend's house, check their deck. I know I was in high school and I was on a friend's deck and that deck ripped right off the side of the house and we all went sliding off.
Oh my
Nobody
goodness.
hurt, but still it ripped off the side of the house.
Well, I'm so not good at anything related to hardware or handyman. Can you hire someone to go check it for you, make sure it really is okay?
Sure. If you don't want to climb under there and take a look to see what's underneath, you can always hire a home inspector to come over and take a look. It costs about $150 to do that.
And in some of these cases, if you're just talking about, you know, maybe some missing metal here or there or some rusty bolts, you can make it safe without spending a ton, right?
Yeah, you don't have to spend a ton of money, especially if you just need some hardware. That home we were looking at in the North Hills, for example, he said about $100 to fix the problems there.
Well
Not
worth
much.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Susan.
All right.